Welcome to Post-Human Survival Horror. Bring Me the Horizon are back with another... They're calling this EP, so that's what this is. An EP review, although it could pass off as an album with its 9 tracks coming in at over 30 minutes, so obviously their shortest, album EP to date, but... I'm still just going to call it a project mainly because that's what this is. This is part 1 of 4 of the Post-Human series. It's survival horror, and yeah, let me just talk about this. First of all, my least favorite, Itch for the Cure, When Will We Be Free? It's an interlude and it does its job, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be one that I come back to, but I'll get to the reason why it's more fitting than you think it is. The ones that I found okay were Teardrops. Obviously, I mentioned that in the track review for it, and one I was kind of disappointed in, but still liked in a way, was Kingslayer, which happened to feature Baby Metal. I remember seeing Baby Metal was going to feature on this track, and I was excited. I love Baby Metal's part, I love the chorus, but for the most part it left me wanting something that was just felt left out in the end, and it left me disappointed, not to the extent where I hated the song, just it left me going, I felt like this could have been just a little bit better. But you do get the return of the Ali Sykes gutturals, not just in this song, but throughout. There's a lot of breakdowns, a lot of heavier, aggressive moments, and this is definitely one of those songs, so good job there. And that leaves the rest of this project as my favorite. Dear Diary is a fantastic kickoff. They take more of a punk-type spin to get it going, and I think it works out very, very well. Parasite Eve, of course, I think is my favorite thing off of this whole project. One of the more up and down ones in this case of, the genre bending on here, because, it starts off at, this more, pop-type warped synth beat, and then all of a sudden it goes into this more sempiternal, that's the spirit type moment. It's like I had mentioned before, it basically mixes their last 3 albums from Sempiternal to Ammo together into one, and to me I think it's just satisfying everybody. And we have Obey, that featured Youngblood. That was another one that, this one they said they kind of took more of a Linkin Park-esque type feel with this one, along with Teardrops, and I can definitely see it. Youngblood plays his part, does very, very well. Was very happy with this. Again, you have gutturals on this track by Ali Sykes. Then there's One by One, which features the Nova Twins. I didn't know much about these, or this band, I should say, but they did well on it. People might be hesitant to go to it, especially the hardcore fans, because of the more, trap beat-driven thing, but I assure you, it's catchy, it's good, it is one of the more radio-friendly type songs on here, but it is nice for what it is. Then, of course, Ludens. I've been talking about this one since November of last year. Everybody thought it was just going to be for the Death Stranding soundtrack, but here it is, the 8th track on Post-Human Survival Horror, and I still love it. I love the fact that you get the more... It definitely sounds like it belongs in a video game, and of course the breakdown. I think that's what shocked everybody when it came out, was, oh my god, it's the return of the breakdown, and they do a good job here. Something else I found out in Ludens that we didn't get to hear in the Death Stranding version was there's actually uncensored lyrics where Ali Sykes says, "Blow the brains of everyone in the class." I thought that was interesting, don't know why, it just really caught me off guard when I was listening. Anyway, back to the review. And then there's the last song, which is called One Day the Only Butterflies Left Will Be in Your Chest as You March Toward Death, which features Evanescence Amy Lee, and good lord. I don't know why I was expecting a heavier track, but we get the soft finisher, and obviously this fits Amy Lee's character, just piano-driven. Amy Lee and Ali Sykes get a verse, and then the chorus comes in twice. I mean, it is just fantastic. Amy Lee, again, just doesn't disappoint here. Again, maybe I shouldn't have thought of something heavier, because Bring Me the Horizon said this is going to be the heavy part of the series that they're doing here, and I was like, oh, maybe Amy Lee will be part of this heavy metal song. It wasn't that, but you know, again, when has she ever had a bad vocal performance no matter what she's doing? I still can't think of it, because obviously it didn't happen here, and it finished off this project very, very nicely in a way. So, EPs I rate out of 5, and this is one where I have really little margin for error to figure out how much I liked an album, because I feel like if I rank it a 4 or higher, that just means I like it way too much, whereas a 3.5 or lower, people are going to start thinking I didn't enjoy it as much. But I can assure you, this is a 4 out of 5, because even the okay tracks, I'm still going to go back and listen to. Heck, Teardrops is still slowly growing on me, so maybe eventually that'll come into play. But for the most part, that interlude that was there, you know, it leads into Kingslayer, because you can hear Baby Metal chanting, "We want a Kingslayer," during that interlude. So again, I guess it does its job as an interlude, and without listening to it, you can't really get brought into Kingslayer like you do. I mean, a lot of these songs kind of just parlay off of one another, like Dear Diary into Parasite Eve, to One by One going into Luden. So I think some of these tracks are kind of important to each other. But overall, the genre bending's nice, and I think it'll even bring back some old fans, because the heavier moments are there, and it's going to be interesting to see what the next projects have for us, because as Ali Sykes said, in these 4 projects in 12 months that are coming out, so we can get another one very, very soon, and by very soon I mean anywhere between 3 to 4 months, and I can assure you it's definitely going to sound different from this, so don't be surprised if it's like an EDM album next, or just a more pop-leaning album next, because it's all going to differ from each other in the mood, and it's going to be interesting to see who else they get to feature on these next projects, because it's going to be interesting to see what kind of atmosphere they use in this case. But yeah, that's just my take on this EP. You can tell me in the comments below, what did you think? What are you expecting in part 2? And yeah, until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.